Phones out. All right, so I got a few minutes anyway, so I said, you know what? Let me dig into this real quick or whatever. Talk about it real quick. So give me like 2 seconds. I'm just gonna share this. We'll get right back with y'all. Got about like 30 minutes with y'all, all right? So make sure y'all get this quick, get it somber, you know what I mean? Because it's only gonna be one time and everything like that. So what's going on? So around about, I think it was about 1 p.m. today or something like that, I threw up about Diddy had got into a fight in prison down there in Jersey and you know, all that. So let me tell you about something about prison culture for somebody. Now, this Puff, this is his first stint. He's a little bit different than myself and a couple other guys because we actually did this shit before we entered into the music industry. One of the funny things about it is because I was working for that company and I worked for subsequently 3 companies, including Arista, Interscope Records, and BMG, which I mention all the time. What's going on, B? Make sure y'all hit that like button for me. I appreciate that. Um, I come from a street element before going into the music industry. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing to be proud of or whatever, whatever. But right here in this state that I'm standing in right now, Connecticut, I did 2 bids out here. Shout out to Corrigan. Shout, shout out to Enfield. You know what I mean? For real, and all those that went through that. So, as somebody that went through that early before I even came around and started street team and all that stuff or whatever, whatever, I knew the game because I had been part of it. So Puff being this is his first bid and he's in a federal penitentiary, it's a little bit different. Access to other people is very easy. You understand what I'm saying? Where if you get in traditional prisons, you got tiers, got top tier, bottom tier, you got certain hours that you come out or whatever, whatever. And these guys subsequently it kind of work that way, but they're a little bit more open now. So they get a little bit more interaction with each other. Now I knew sooner or later, and I ain't gonna lie, old y'all, I knew sooner or later. Listen, let me just say it the way I do. If y'all don't like cursing, y'all don't like, you know, plain English, just the way I talk. Sometimes you gotta put pause on a motherfucker. Sometimes you gotta put pause on a motherfucker. Now, for what I'm getting the story is, and I don't even have to know the details. Let me get it that way. What I'm getting from the story, from what's offered, give me a second, y'all. From what's offered is, basically, there's probably somebody in there taunting him. Somebody in there saying, "Oh, yo, you a superstar. You ain't got your guards with you. You ain't got the security with you." Not knowing that this nigga put pause on niggas, and I've been and told y'all. I don't know why they think that the bad boy accolade is a bunch of suckers. Homie, we're called Bad Boy Entertainment. Do you understand? We call Bad Boy Entertainment. You understand? What's going on? We got our first resident sissy in here. What's going on, resident sissy? What's resident sissy? You understand? We like y'all too. Sometimes you gotta put pause on somebody. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, as of any prison movie you probably ever seen in your life or whatever, when you walk in that joint, you can either be a victim or you can be the victimizer. See what I'm saying? That's how I go. Now, I'm gonna talk about myself when I went in there. When I went in there, and anybody that know me personally can vouch for this. When I went in there, you understand what I'm saying? I went in there by myself. I wasn't with my crew. This was the first time I was separated from my crew for a minute. So I wasn't with my crew when I went into jail the first time or the second time. I did my bids by myself. You understand? Both of them by myself. So, you know, you form alliances and stuff like that or whatever, and you form, you know, peoples or whatever, but at the end of the day, these people from certain neighborhoods, they're from certain areas or whatever the case may be, and they really don't give a fuck about you, to be honest with you. I'm being truthful with you. You can't help a motherfucker out. Listen, the ultimate is in the prison yard where you find out, yo, somebody can't help me out really like that or whatever. They only help me because it's beneficial to them in the end. They're going to get some soups out of it. They're going to get a couple bars of soap, something. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, if you know this, you know this. If you don't, Puff got tested. That's what happened. Puff got tested, and whoever tested him, I don't know who tested him or whatever, but I know the experience. And it's like I said, sometimes you got to put pause on the motherfucker. Even if you're going to lose, sometimes you got to put pause on the motherfucker. This to let them know, hey, listen, man, I got a whole bunch of cousins as big as your ass is. You better be lucky if I don't get them over here in time enough while you still here. You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of people, they want to hear the ultimate end. Oh, Puffy, you know, they want to hear that talk. Oh, Diddy, you know what? He's gonna jeopardize his freedom now. He's gonna jeopardize early release it. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. It's 30 days stint in the hole. He won't even do the whole 30. He'll do 15. I poked the motherfucker in the fucking neck with a plastic fork in the front of the fucking chow room. He only gave me 15 days. He'll be all right. It's a ticket. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. It's a ticket. Now, could it affect him? Possibly. Do I think it will affect him? Nah. I think Puff will be all right. But let this be clear to you, just like DJ Envy told you. And I threw up that clip. Niggas will put paws on you. That's what you're missing. Niggas will put paws on you. Like, for real. There's only certain people in New York City tri-state who understand what I'm talking about, but I'm telling you, niggas will put paws on you. And you heard what DJ Envy said in that clip I put up. He's like, I've been trying to warn niggas, Diddy will set it on you. Yes. The majority of us are fucking nut as fuck. You know what I'm saying? We're some nutty ass niggas. You know what I mean? Street team, we don't put posts up, we post up. Street team, we don't put posters up, we post up. Jada know what I'm talking about. He the only nigga gonna know what I'm talking about. Jadakiss, shout out to Jadakiss. You know what I mean? Only niggas gonna know what I'm talking about. P. Diddy, he gonna be all right, man. He gonna be all right. But that's just the situation. That's the environment when you in there, whatever. If you in a prison cell, I mean, sooner or later they're gonna try to test you. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be doing anything or bothering anybody or getting on somebody's nerves or owe somebody a 2-for-1 or any of that shit. Nigga just be like, pick you and be like, yo, I don't like you. It's that simple. And being that he's a superstar, a prize superstar, which will be a great superstar or whatever, that's what you're going to get. We got to get that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, they won't go after none of the Italian mob. They won't go after none of the Russian mob. They won't go after none of that. They'll just go after the five families with us. Fucking fucks. What a bunch of fucking stenots. He probably deserved that fucking choke out. Fuck him. You know what I'm saying? I've met many of motherfuckers before that deserve to be choked out or whatever. It's like, you know what? You're doing too much. You know what I'm saying? So, am I mad about it? I wish it wouldn't have happened. I think Puff got put in a corner where he had no other choice. I think Puff was challenged, as naturally I think it would be. You understand? Based on his status prior to going in there. But I would tell any motherfucker that, because see, you got this other element too. I want to speak about this real quick. Element two, and the other element is you got a lot of these podcasters, a lot of streamers or whatever, that are still taking, quite interest in what Puff is or whatever. Probably got 1 or 2 people down, especially if they're from the New York City tri-state area. You know, a lot of people from the New York City tri-state area. Then they got to working with bloggers from California and this state and that state. It's really quite sad, that you would turn on your own people up here. But it is what it is. Some people, they need to shine. But there's people, trust me, that are intrinsic on passing messages to people that are down there in that prison, or, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you seen them around there? They got a loved one, a cousin, whatever. It's black, white, polka dot, whatever. You'd be surprised what you can do. Motherfuckers are destitute and they need some soups or some crackers or something like that. You know what I mean? They need some money on the commissary. They get quite destitute, and when they're in them situations, and they'll turn around, they'll do whatever. You understand? So please believe me, outside has got some eyes inside watching Diddy. I knew this from the get-go. I prepared for it. So there's probably 1 or 2 motherfuckers that's in there, and they say, yo, you know what? If you taunt him good enough, we'll give you some commissary. We'll send you some money. You get some rum on soups. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make sure you tito, you know what I mean? You right when you come out. You know what I'm saying? We got 10,000 waiting for you when you touch the ground. You know, shit like that. That'd be real interesting to a motherfucker, you know? And I know y'all don't believe it, but this is how a lot of these people are working. I just posted up a video last night. I'll post it up again for you guys. And it was a guy that was an ex-CIA agent. And he was asked the question, do you think some of these podcasters are working with federal agents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And he said, yeah, definitely. That was his answer. Now, this is a square man by any of his sense, and I'm not trying to take anywhere away from it. Shout out to any of our nation's military service, defensive services, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, I come from a military family, so I always make sure that I hold the biggest abode for the military. But true be as it may, that man said, he said, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So that means some of these guys that are bloggers or whatever the case may be, not only are working with federal agents, but also, and it makes perfect sense. I mean, like even here on this app itself, anything that we say on here is basically put into a cloud. I mean, it's put into an algorithm, some of it's metadata collection, small increments of data, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So make no mistake about it. Even your Gmail can be subpoenaed by the FBI, the CIA, if you didn't know that. So very easily, I already knew that much going into it from outside of the case and itself and everything like that last year when I was down there at the courthouse. I already knew what the score would be. I said, as soon as he's touched down in there, there's somebody down there that been talking to their family for the past 6-7 months, and they like, yo, he on his way. He's on his way. You understand? And so I knew that from the get-go. I said, yo, he's going to have, and I thought he might have some problems down there based on that pure, simple superstition, or if you want to call it, some people call it conspiracy theory, but I think it's very rational to think that way. I think Diddy will be all right. Do I think he should be home? Yes, I think he should be home. I said this last week. I'll say it again this week. I think he should be home. If one of the accusers that was a federal witness is now live online promoting her OnlyFans account, yes, I do think so. You know, Daphne Joy has been on now 4 different podcasts. She's been on DJ Academics podcast now 15 times. And clips, if you add the clips, you're talking about 30 plus times. Bragging about her affection, OnlyFans. She wants to become the new OnlyFans superstar, whatever. Nobody's taking a blink in the eye at this woman, the same woman that said she was abused in a federal court trial, which she made a deal with the feds to make sure that she was acclimated from any other type of charge that could be added to her. Let's just say whatever they made exempt. Let's put it that way. Long story short, this woman is now promoting the OnlyFans. You've heard 50 Cent, her baby father, talk about her and promote her OnlyFans. He said OnlyFans is up 85%. I don't understand that. How do you go from being sexually abused to now I'm going to be an OnlyFans model? That doesn't make sense to me. If anybody else that doesn't point that out or see that, there's something wrong with you. We got another girl that collected $30 million and started sleeping with the hired help. And had a family and walked off in a happily ever after with $30 million from the same dude that hired him. You know, the whole story itself is messed up or whatever compared to the guy from Kmart, compared to the poor guys that were real estate brokers. This got Russian brothers that this got convicted down in Miami, I believe it was, or maybe Orlando, and they have to come back to New York to face charges there. So this is what I say, and I say it again, and I'll keep saying it. When you have women that get online or get provocatively and say, yo, I've been assaulted or whatever, false pretenses, what you do is you screw it up for women that actually have been abused. And I don't like that shit. I got 2 sisters. My sisters say, yo, this motherfucker touched me. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. You probably ain't gonna have to worry about the police or anybody, because me and my cousins is gonna go fuck you up. I'm gonna keep it real with you. You touch my sister, you might as well call everybody and tell them, all right, it's been real. We had some great times. Because trust me, we're going to get you the fuck up out of here. Now, with that being said, I think that there's a lot of people that are in destitute right now in these online communities. I think it's a lot of people right now that'll throw out any type of story whatsoever if it fits a fall, right? You know, there's an algorithm, not even an algorithm, but a how can I say it? This empathetic movement that a lot of people have automatically. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. What's the name? That star, that gift right there. What is that called? A flow state. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, they be having all kinds of different things. So when I see it in the super chat, I appreciate y'all. But you got now an era within social media where people can just come up and they can say whatever they want to. I'm seeing people now literally titles and descriptions and uploads that they put up, and the upload doesn't have anything to do with the goddamn upload that they did. If the title doesn't have anything, it doesn't even match. They do it for views, like shock value, you know what I mean? And then once upon a time, I'm in my 40s now, so I remember when they used to have the National Enquirer. You catch that bitch right in front of goddamn grocery store aisle or whatever. A lot of y'all remember it. Bat Boy found in fucking Brazil. We found an elephant man in Cachamukawanda. You know what I mean? The type of shit like that. That's what's extended now here on YouTube and all these other different apps. You basically got the national and fucking fire here. People can jump up, they can say whatever the fuck they want to say, and whether it makes sense or doesn't make sense, as long as you got 100 dumb motherfuckers that are followers and sheeps that agree with it, they'll pass the message for you. They'll echo the message for you. And so this is why you get a lot of these superstitions that came along with Diddy that were proven wrong. That's why you see a lot of these cases getting tossed or whatever. And a lot of people say, well, you know, you're just taking up. Listen, me working in the music industry don't have nothing to do with that. It don't have nothing to do with that, because I said it from the beginning. I said, if this motherfucker's guilty, then fuck him. This is your first time here with me, I smoke and I curse. I don't know. That's what I do. Free Diddy, that's what's up. We got a broad out here promoting the OnlyFans in 30 separate clips, and we still calling her a victim? Nah, that's a participator. Proud participator. You understand? And I want a lot of women, I want y'all to start calling out these hoes too. As a girl, see, I live in Connecticut. We're home to Yale University, UConn, Quinnipiac University, Housatonic University, a couple other prestigious collegiate institutions. You understand what the fuck I'm saying? And so I know when we see a hoe, because we got some women here, they bust their ass. I see them every morning. Every morning. Bust their motherfucking ass. These nurse, going to Yale, going to one of these collegiate institutions I'm mentioning, whatever. And I know quite quickly how to separate them from hoes. What they want to do is they want to group women in with the hoes. And that's the biggest mistake they ever done. And ladies, y'all got to separate the sisterhood based on that fact. Y'all can be grouping with hoes if y'all want to be respected. Now, if you don't believe me on this, go ask your brothers. Go ask your uncle. Go ask your daddy if he's available. It seems to me that a lot of people nowadays, they hear a story, and the first thing they do is they say, oh, I want to go along with the story. Oh, well, I believe this girl because she said this or whatever. And they're not ever realizing that this girl that actually threw the story up is doing it for clicks and views. Where's your proof? Where's your proof? And this is why I say, and I'll redact back once again to Daphne Joy. You went from being a victim to now having an OnlyFans that you're promoting with DJ Academics. Your baby daddy is speaking against one of the biggest stars recognized in the rap community, 50 Cent. Yeah, it's hard to side with these things, you know. And as much as I try to say, okay, well, you know what, she's a girl, no, this is a hoe. That's a hoe. And at the moment that you decide, you say, you know what, I'm gonna take it off for $4.99 a month, you a hoe. You're a hoe. And I don't know why more people don't say that's what it is. If we took it back 20 years ago, whether your grandmother was white, black, polka dot, Puerto Rican, or whatever, they would say to you, don't bring that little nasty bitch in my house. My grandmother was a Christian, and she would say shit like, it smelled like a French whorehouse up in here. You know what I'm saying? She would say shit like that to my cousins or whatever, because she wanted to make sure they kept in line that we were ladies. The girls nowadays don't have any inhibition, and they don't have any respectability, a lot of them. And they're grouping themselves together. So what, you made $1 million last year taking off your clothes? That don't mean you're the same as a girl that went to Yale and spent the past 5 years. That don't mean you're the same as a girl that's going right now to doctoring. That don't you're not in the same elk as them. You make the same money, maybe more money. You're not the same as them. And that's what we're getting to a problem with, because a lot of these girls are hopping on these podcasts and say, I was a victim, I was this, I was that. They're just blatantly saying it. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is your proof? You can't just blatantly say some man did something to you and cause this hysteria that's with men nowadays. And I thought it was just men of color that was going through it. No, I talked to white dudes that are going through it. I got Italian friends, Greek friends, Latin friends. They all say same shit. They're like, yeah, what the fuck is wrong with these bras? Are they all lesbians or what? What's going on? Like, that's lesbian behavior. You hate men. Why? Why do you hate men? And usually it's something internal. So, like I said, I just wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about it. I ain't talking about it. I don't like talking about it too much or whatever, because it kind of pisses me off, because it's a whole bunch of different things that come out from it. One of the things that comes out from it is men and women, they don't, or eventually won't, procreate as much. I watched an interview about Elon Musk last night that was interesting, because one of the parts that he said in the interview, he said, I'm able to predict the future. And he was talking about two things that I centered on and I talked about before in my prior conversations. One of them was, I think within the next 3 to 5 years, you're not only going to see procreation come to a standstill in all demographics, but you're also going to see something else. And what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of, and that's why I've been throwing up like clips and stuff of that, like the autonomous trucks that are now moving around in China and doing deliveries, the autonomous robots that are delivering food. They're going to sooner or later put the Uber Eats guys out of business. I don't even know how you could do some shit like that. They just going to be lifelong. Like, what the fuck do you hop in the car and say, you know what, I'm going to deliver food and I'm going to do this for the next 10 years? You out of your fucking mind? Any of y'all that doing that around a fucking bicycle, find something else to do. What you saying? Much respect to you too, Gord. I appreciate you, bro. Why bro hating on hoes? I love them. Shout out to Mark. Now, we ain't hating no hoes. We just talking about the hoes that try to link themselves with chicks that get up in the morning and go to work and shit like that. That's what we talking about. We trying to separate ourselves from that. Like, yes, I know some stand-up ass women. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna do together with a bitch that be standing on OnlyFans for 6 or 7 hours to make $4.99 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Or don't, what is it? Subscription, whatever the fuck it is. Most of those girls ain't even making, like, I check this out. Y'all can go check the demographics and see for yourself. Most of these girls, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but the average girl on OnlyFans is only making anywhere between $180 and $300. $180 to $300, all right? That's a very low amount of money. You understand what I'm saying? So if you got a girl that's making $180, $300 a month, and she's taking her clothes off, do you know the setback with that? Do you understand the setback with that? Those photos, those videos, and all that stuff, no matter what you say, ladies, and I'm trying to tell you here, that stuff stays there forever. Listen, I'm going to tell you from a guy's perspective, right? As a guy, we go on places like Pornhub. Shut up. Anybody in my chat room, shut the fuck up, because you know I'm telling the truth. We go on places like Pornhub with guys. We go on places like Pornhub and shit like that or whatever. And there's guys that rip y'all videos that y'all charge $4.99 a month. And within, I don't know, say you throw up a new clip, right? Within 2 days, somebody had thrown up the update to the folder that they had already established for you. So you're already losing money because somebody that ripped the video with an MP4 ripper, whatever, and they upload it to Pornhub. Now, it might sit up there for about 3 or 4 weeks. You might be able to get some tracking information or whatever, get them removed. But the point is, after I've ripped it, it's down to circulation that you can't control anymore. So now your kid is 15 years old. Now your kid is 13 years old or whatever. He goes to high school or middle school or whatever the fuck. And they're like, yo, I saw your mom the other day. You're like, how the fuck do you explain that? How the fuck do you explain that? And we got girls that are 18, 19 years old. Some of those girls that go on Fresh and Fit. Say what you want to about them. Shout out to Myron. He's from here in New Britain in Connecticut. But the point is, those girls, one of the things, whether you agree with what they do or don't agree with what they do, on Fresh and Fit, one of the things is And guys, make sure y'all go to Myron Gaines' page. Y'all see a video on there with me and him that's got, I think it's like 700,000 views or whatever. So shout out to Myron, shout out to Fresh. But one of the things that sticks out to me is those girls that go on there, they're usually like 18, 19, 20 years old, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Hey, yo, bro, whatever the fuck you got going on, get the fuck away from me right now. I'm not your motherfucking friend. I'm not your motherfucking friend. I don't give a fuck what you got going on. Act like a grown fucking man.
Okay, sir.
Fucking drunk motherfucker. Y'all come to the country to drink? Y'all come to the country to drink. That's why we don't feel sorry for you. My skinny ass will beat the snot out of your motherfucking ass. Yeah, excuse my little outburst right there. I don't like that shit. I'm not your fucking friend. You're gonna be in our country, act like you got some fucking sense. Anyway, most of the girls that are on there are 18, 19, 20 years old. If you notice that in the demographic of most of the girls they interview. These girls have not even had a chance to launch themselves into life. They ain't even old enough to reach the liquor store yet. Yet and still, they're on OnlyFans. Now, I ain't even blaming them because the money is there. But here's the more question. Bad Baby. She made something, I think it was like $10 million or something like that ultimately altogether. How many people do you think were 35, 40, 50 years old when she was 17 years old and couldn't wait for her to turn 18? I'll let it sit on that. Guys, I got to step out of here. I'll talk to you in a few minutes.